It's been called the Great American Novel. I'm talking about On the Road by the one and only Jack Kerouac. His words still have an impact today. Director Yves Berneau explores this impact more in his new documentary. Here's my really interesting chat with him. Take a look.
On the Road is going to be the first of a series of novels I'm planning to write about different types of men and women in our generation. The exact haunting experience of their lifetimes. A complete world in words.
Yves, it's so good to speak with you. I love On the Road. It's one of my favorite top 5 books. What resonated so much with this book with you and why you wanted to make a documentary about it?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Tori. It's great to see you. For me, I read this book when I was 16, and I was living in northern Florida, South Georgia, and I thought it was brilliant, and there were moments of genius throughout it. But I have to be honest, I didn't feel as a young black gay kid, I didn't feel like I could go on the road in the same way, and so all of these decades later, it was really important to me to talk about, to make sure that it was everybody's road, because it's all of our road. And it's also a wonderful progression of America that now, you've got women, women couldn't really go on the road in the
Right.
1950s. And so making sure that everyone's kind of story is voiced. And yet the greatest thing about it is the common denominator is that the road is all of our story. So we're all on all on our individual paths. But the most exciting thing to me is that we all get to bump into one another on this great thing that's called the road. And that is kind of the exciting thing about life to me.
I love how you use the road as a metaphor for all of us to walk the path on. Kerouac was an interesting character, a little reclusive, a little hidden. Tell me what's the most surprising thing you learned about Kerouac?
The most surprising thing I learned was that from a sheer picture, if I looked at him just as a photo, and this is, it looked like a guy who had it all, kind of
Right.
very good looking, rugged, good looks, at Columbia University, so very clever and all of these things. And actually, deep down, he had a deep insecurity. He didn't speak English until he was 6 or 7. He really was from a Franco-Canadian immigrant family. And actually, he wrote and he went on the road and then wrote on the road, not because he was just on a fun journey. He actually didn't understand how he as a person fit into the fabric of America. And so
Mm.
he went out to find out where he fit into this country. And I think that was the thing that really resonated with me, because I didn't, just off at first glance, I didn't learn that. I didn't know that, or I didn't think that. And so it's
Right.
another reminder of, don't take a photo for granted.
Right. And it's kind of a universal thing that we're all trying to find our road. I was 16 also, by the way, Eves, when I read On the Road, and I cut out a quote on my door, burned the edges like so many people do. And of course, it's the ones for me are the mad ones, the ones who
That's
are
right.
mad to talk, mad to live. Do you have a favorite chapter, a quote? Was there something that spoke to you?
It's interesting you say that. I am still most fascinated by the very beginning of the book as Sal sets out on his journey, because
Mm,
I think that the book overall is the life cycle in a weird way.
mm,
It's a coming of age book. But at the beginning of the book, Sal's it's very fresh and new and exciting. And then in the middle of the book, Sal doesn't have such an easy time on the road. It's like the
yeah.
money has run out. The money's run out. The sandwiches that he made have gone bad.
Right.
It gets a little dark in there. And then at the end, when he returns to the East Coast and back in New York, it's kind of like he's grown up, and you see his buddy Dean on the side of the road there as he's kind of driving away, going to a concert. And so there's an interesting life cycle of adulthood. And so one of the things that I wanted to show in the film as we went through was, our the everyday participants. One is on his way to college, one is kind of middle of life experiencing the journey, and one is in her late 60s and going to reconnect with her estranged father who's in his 90s. So it's an end of life story. So to me, I found the book, as much as I love it as coming of age, it's also very much a life cycle.
I mean, now I'm gonna have to read On the Road again and picture it with that kind of structure in it. I think that's fascinating. I think anybody going through something can take so much away from On the Road, and I'm so excited to learn more. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I really look forward to the documentary, and Ebes, it was lovely to speak with you today.
Well, thanks for having me, and we'll be at the Denver Film Society on the 8th. So
Oh.
I can't wait.
I'm going to get tickets, or I'm going to beg someone to get me some tickets. I can't wait to go on the road to see it. Thanks so much, Eves.
Thank you.
You can catch Kerouac's Road, The Beat of a Nation at a screening on August 8th, like he said. For more information, head on over to denverfilm.org.